You've been chasing awakening, and that's exactly why you haven't found it. No one told you that seeking is the very thing keeping you asleep, that the one trying to become enlightened is the illusion itself. You've read the books, done the meditations, watched the gurus, and yet you still feel like something's missing, like you're almost there, but not quite. Here's the uncomfortable truth most won't say. You'll finally awaken the moment you stop needing to. What if I told you that everything you've done in the name of spiritual growth has only been strengthening the ego you're trying to dissolve? That every attempt to fix yourself is just another layer of the dream? In this video, you won't get another technique. You'll get a mirror, one that shows you the real reason you still feel separate. We're not adding more noise to your mind. We're pointing beyond it, and once you see what's underneath the seeking, you'll wonder why you ever searched at all. 1. The obsession with becoming. He's been chasing awakening like a man trying to catch his own shadow. Always one step behind, always just out of reach. What he doesn't see is that this pursuit, this hunger to become awakened, is still ego playing dress-up in spiritual robes. It whispers, just a little more practice, just one more retreat, and you'll finally arrive. But how can the illusion awaken from itself? The mind turns awakening into a project, a future event, a place to get to. He listens to podcasts, reads every book, sits in meditation for hours, all with a subtle agenda to improve, to achieve, to transform. But awakening isn't a reward for spiritual effort. It's the moment you stop trying to become anything at all. Like noticing the wind when you finally stop chasing the leaves. You see this in seekers everywhere. They swap one identity for another, from businessman to yogi, from lost soul to enlightened aspirant. But the mask is still on. The ego just painted it gold. He starts saying things like, my awakening and my truth. But the my never left. The whole show is still running on the same engine, seeking, and seeking always implies lack. The truth? You can't become what you already are. You can only surrender what you're not. Presence isn't something you earn, it's something you remember when the noise of becoming finally gets quiet. But of course the mind doesn't like quiet, so it offers you 1,000 new ways to seek, to fix, to strive. And that's exactly where the next illusion begins to grow. 2. Seeking is the distraction. He thinks he's on a noble quest, reading ancient texts, chasing gurus, jumping from one practice to the next. But beneath the surface, he's not moving toward truth. He's running from presence. The seeking gives him a role, something to fix, something to strive for. It feels productive. But the paradox is cruel. The more he seeks, the more he affirms the illusion that something is missing. And so the chase continues, like a man sprinting on a treadmill, sweating but going nowhere. The ego loves the game of seeking. It gets to survive by staying slightly dissatisfied. It says, you're almost there, then moves the goalpost. Presence, on the other hand, has no finish line. It asks nothing of you, except to stop. Stop trying, stop escaping, stop postponing now. But stopping is terrifying when your identity is built on movement. So the seeker distracts himself with spiritual podcasts, meditations with secret techniques, and books that promise the final answer. Stillness feels too simple, too empty. But in that emptiness lies everything he's been craving. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable it feels to do absolutely nothing? To sit in silence without trying to meditate or fix your posture or feel more spiritual? The discomfort isn't coming from the silence. It's coming from the mind's addiction to noise. The endless searching becomes a smokescreen that hides what's already here. Awareness. You don't find truth like a lost key. You notice it when you stop turning every moment into a means to an end. The truth doesn't hide. It just waits. The seeker's tragedy is that he's sincere. His heart is in it, but he's been tricked by the very thing he's trying to transcend. He keeps feeding the mind more content to chew on, never realizing the mind itself is the distraction. Surrender isn't glamorous. It doesn't look like enlightenment. It looks like sitting in your living room and not reaching for your phone when discomfort shows up. It looks like doing nothing and realizing that nothing was ever missing. But that's hard to accept because then the search must end. And if there's no seeker, who's left? 3. Awakening can't be achieved. He's still trying to win at awakening, like it's a level to beat in some cosmic video game. He doesn't see the trap yet. The more he chases this idea of being enlightened, the more he reinforces the illusion that he's something other than it. Like a wave trying to become the ocean. The striving keeps him busy, but it also keeps him separate. Awakening isn't some prize hidden at the end of effort. It's what remains when the effort dies. And effort always belongs to the ego. It's a strange thing, isn't it? That something so natural, so simple, could be completely missed just because he's trying too hard. He says, I want to become aware, not realizing that the wanting is the very veil. You don't arrive at awareness through action. You notice it in the space between actions. Like catching a glimpse of the moon when the clouds finally move. And those clouds, they're the thoughts about how to achieve what was never missing. He might ask, so what should I do then? And that's the mind again, looking for the next tactic. But there's nothing to do, only something to stop doing. Stop striving. Stop waiting for the right mindset. Stop trying to perfect your meditation routine. Awareness doesn't care if you've done 10,000 hours or none. It's not a skill. It's not a badge. It's not earned. It's recognized. And recognition happens in silence, not because you forced it, but because you finally got tired of forcing everything. Here's a simple practice. The next time you feel yourself reaching, stop. Just stop. Not with tension, not with force, but with curiosity. What's here when you don't try to get anywhere else? Sit in that. Not to get something out of it, just because you're tired of pretending that getting somewhere has ever worked. The trying mind won't like it. It will panic, resist, make noise. Let it. Don't feed it. Eventually the effort will collapse, and in that collapse, the obvious reveals itself. There was never a distance between you and presence. You only thought there was. 4. Letting go of the fixer. He's always fixing something. His habits, his emotions, his thoughts. Every day is another repair job on a self he's convinced is broken. But here's the twist. What if there's no one to fix? What if the fixer is just another mask the ego wears to keep itself relevant? It loves finding flaws. That way, it gets to survive by staying busy. But awakening isn't about fixing anything. It's about seeing there was never a problem to begin with. Self-improvement looks noble on the surface. It's sold everywhere, 10 steps to be better, calmer, more aligned. But all of it quietly screams the same thing. You're not enough. The fixer doesn't heal. He maintains the illusion of lack. He walks in circles, chasing a version of himself that never arrives, and every time he almost gets there, a new flaw pops up. Now fix this too, the mind whispers. And so he obeys, never questioning the one giving the orders. Here's something to try. Stop trying to improve for one full day. Don't fix the thought. Don't fix the feeling. Don't even fix the impulse to fix. Just let it all be. Let the chaos move through you without resistance. Let the fear shout and the doubt linger. You'll notice something strange. Peace isn't what happens when everything is perfect. Peace is what's left when you stop needing perfection. It's not added. It's revealed underneath all that effort. He might say, but if I don't improve, I'll stay stuck. That's the ego's favorite lie. What if real transformation begins the moment you stop managing your image and start witnessing what's here without editing it? Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means seeing through the illusion of control. It means finally exhaling after a lifetime of tension. And when that fixer finally goes quiet, even just for a moment, something unexpected happens. A space opens. And inside that space, the truth begins to breathe. If this video is helping you in your awakening journey, please subscribe to the channel to keep growing even more. Let's continue. 5. Silence is not a practice. It's your nature. Most people treat silence like a task, something to schedule between meetings and scrolls. They think it's something to achieve, like it needs effort or perfect posture. But true silence isn't created, it's not built, it's not even practiced, it's remembered. It's what remains when all the mental noise is no longer believed. The problem isn't that silence is far away, it's that he's looking for it through the very thing that hides it, the mind. He lights a candle, closes his eyes, and tries to enter silence. But the trying becomes tension, the silence becomes a goal, and goals always live in time, somewhere in the future. Real stillness doesn't arrive through force. It appears in the absence of force. It's already here, humming quietly beneath the commentary. Not a blank nothingness, but a living spaciousness. You don't need to silence the mind. Just stop trusting every thought that appears. That shift alone opens the door. Here's a simple test. Sit still without trying to stop your thoughts. Let them come, let them swirl. But don't touch them. Don't follow them. Don't push them away. Just notice the space they're floating in. That background, unchanging, untouched, is what you've been searching for. That's the silence, not the absence of sound, but the absence of identification. The ego doesn't know what to do with that space, so it calls it boring or unproductive. But that's only because it can't survive there. Stillness doesn't need fixing. It doesn't need technique. It's not a new state. It's the original one. Before the identity, before the roles, before the voice that narrates your every move, there was just this, awareness, without a name. And when he finally stops trying to do silence, he slips into something much deeper. Something that was never born and never changes. Something that doesn't need practice, just permission. And that's silence. It starts to show him who he really is, which leads to the final illusion. 6. The one who tries to awaken can't. He doesn't realize it yet, but the one trying to awaken is the very thing that cannot awaken. It's like a shadow chasing light. The ego adopts a new mission. I must dissolve. But the one saying that is the illusion itself. It reads all the right books, goes on all the right retreats, and talks about surrender like a pro. Yet underneath it all is this subtle need to survive, as the one who awakens. But awakening has nothing to do with that character. It happens when the character is seen through. This is why progress feels like walking in circles. The seeker wakes up to the illusion one moment, and the next he's already trying to capture that clarity, to own it. But truth can't be owned. The ego thinks it can be the hero of a spiritual story. I'm becoming more conscious, it says, but that very sentence exposes the trap. The I in that sentence is the block. He's not getting closer. He's reinforcing the wall every time he claims he's advancing. Here's an example. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, trying to see your own eyes without a reflection. The harder you look, the more confused you get. That's what happens when the ego tries to awaken. It's looking at itself, through itself, with the hope of transcending itself. It can't. The shift happens when that whole mechanism is observed, not changed. The moment he stops trying to be spiritual is the moment silence opens, because the doer is finally gone. There's no technique to drop the ego. It drops itself when it's no longer believed. But that requires seeing the illusion, not fixing it. That's the real surrender. No fanfare, no fireworks, just a quiet seeing that the one who wants to wake up was never real, and when that curtain falls, what's left is not a better version of him. What's left is what's always been here, the still, silent, formless presence beneath the mask, and in that stillness something stirs, something that was never seeking anything at all. 7. You'll finally awaken when you stop needing to. He's been waiting for the breakthrough, that final aha moment, the great cosmic pat on the back that whispers, "You made it." But the real joke is this. He's already what he's looking for, and the only reason he can't feel it is because he's still pretending he's not. Awakening doesn't arrive when you've earned it. It arrives when you no longer need it to arrive, when you stop trying to wake up and simply rest in the fact that you never left. It's like searching the house in a panic, thinking you've lost your keys, only to find them in your hand. The seeking creates the sense of lack. It manufactures the illusion that something is missing. But what if there's nothing missing? What if the one who's been striving to become whole was just a thought, repeating itself in the mind like an old song? The moment you stop singing along, you hear the silence underneath, and in that silence, presence lives. Try this for one moment. Forget your story. Forget the path, the goal, the milestones. Just notice that right now, there is something aware of these words. Something that doesn't need fixing, learning, or achieving. That awareness doesn't care if you're awake or asleep. It doesn't label you at all. It just is. And that simple isness is the very thing you've been chasing across lifetimes. Not a version of it. It, right here, right now. No wait list required. And here's the twist. When he gives up the chase, not out of defeat, but out of clarity, something shifts. Not because he got something new, but because he stopped overlooking what's always been here. No fireworks, no applause, just a quiet recognition that the whole search was never necessary. So now the real question arises, not from the mind, but from somewhere deeper. What if there's nothing more to find?